This club needs changes. I'm not just talking about players or managers. I mean structural changes. No one is untouchable, and I will be the first to offer myself to go if it needs to happen, because I think we have reached rock bottom. That's right, Piqué. You got it right. However, these changes are not just going to happen in a month. And Barcelona fans, players, the club need to be prepared for a transition. It's going to be a long process rather than just a quick fix. Let's get started. What's up, guys? Welcome back to El Merengue Culé. Today, we're going to be discussing a video that, in my opinion, I think is long overdue. What went wrong with Barcelona? How did they reach this potential rock bottom situation? And what must they do to prevent the absolute worst? Why don't we start with the board? I think that is the first thing that any Barcelona fan will say if you ask them what is going on with Barcelona. Bartomeu, the president that has led Barcelona to potential ruins via so many different mistakes. First off, let's start talking about the signings. Big signings that he completely overpaid for. And I'm not even talking about every single one of them. You know, some of them, it made sense for them. Some of the others, who we're going to name later, just absolutely make no sense for why you would pay that much for such a player. You can't tell me that he didn't know what he was doing. I mean, at what cost? I'm sorry to say it, Barcelona fans, but there's no more money left in the bank. You guys have spent 160 million on Coutinho, 132 million on Griezmann, 151 million on Ousmane Dembele, and why not, 45 million on Malcolm. Out of those four players that I named, that adds up to 500 million euros. €500 million, guys. And only two of these players, no, really one player is actually even playing with the team if you count Dembele out because of all his injuries that he's encountered. This season, only one of those players is even playing, remotely playing. And the other one goes and scores 2 goals against y'all. Now, what's the problem with these purchases? The problem is that the board, not just Bartomeu, but the board, everyone else that's entitled with him, did not have a single idea what they wanted to do with these different purchases. So they go and get Coutinho, they go and get Griezmann, and it seems like they're just spending money to spend. They had gotten the big cash injection from the sale of Neymar, and they felt like they needed to make a statement, right? They needed to relieve the pain in the Barcelona's hearts for the sale of Neymar that happened out of nowhere. And so they felt like the right way to do so was to go splash the cash and bring in a big name. However, they did so, bringing players that were completely out of position. Neymar played on the left wing. They brought in a center attacking mid in Coutinho. Then they go in and bring Ousmane Dembele, who in my opinion was a good signing. Sure, maybe a little bit overpriced, but he was actually a young player that showed great projection. And I mean, there was no way of knowing that he was going to be injury prone, right? He had been doing perfectly fine when he was back in Dortmund. So that signing I can't really bash on too much. But Coutinho, Griezmann, 2 players that you had absolutely no idea what you even wanted to do with them. And now to make things worse, they have to deal with COVID-19, with a reduction of about 20% in their income in a year where they need to start restructuring. A year that they should have already been restructuring, but they have, I don't know where they've been living, in La La Land. So on top of that, we have Bartomeu's failure to lay down his hand and say no to the players. It feels like Messi shows up, Piqué shows up, I don't know, any big player name, you know, Griezmann, whatever he was signing in, and they throw out, it's like they just throw out whatever number they want to earn, and he says, you got it. Like, you would think someone at that level, with such influence and such money being handled, would know and would be able to look at the future. You can't just live in the today right now, right? You gotta think of the future. How is this decision gonna affect the club as a whole? So you have Messi coming and saying, after a year of renewing his contract, I want to renew my contract again. And what does Bartomeu say? Opens his legs and says, go for it. What do you want? What can I give you? Come on. Are you kidding me? I mean, what has this led to? Now we have a Barcelona team that their salary cap is maxed out. Lionel Messi earning 70 million euros a year. 70 million. Then you have players like Frenkie de Jong, 22 years old. He's already earning 20 million a year. Griezmann and Suarez combined, also 70 million. I went and looked up the Bayern Munich salaries, and I was impressed with what I saw. The top salary that they have to play isn't even their own player. That's right, it's Felipe Coutinho. Bayern Munich's top salary is for a Barcelona player. A player that Barcelona doesn't even want to have anymore. 25 million euros. Bayern Munich's second top salary is Robert Lewandowski at 20 million. And that seems completely fair to me because of how much Robert Lewandowski does to them. Set 20 million compared to 70 million of Messi, 45 million of Griezmann. Guys, Griezmann is earning more than double than Lewandowski, a player who probably should have won the Ballon d'Or this year. Can you believe that? Now we're going to get on to Messi in a little bit, but real quick, just to finish off with the topic of the board, Bartomeu, now I'm going to talk about the sales that they do. Their failure to sell players at a good price. Guys, they have been selling players that have potential. They're not bad players, but they're just so bad at negotiating. They literally give them to other players. You have players like Cucurella. Guys, Cucurella had a huge projection. They loaned him out to Getafe and had a good year. But what did they go do? They add a buyout clause on Cucurella, where Getafe was able to get him for 11 million. Had they, you give this player to Real Madrid sells him for 30 million, 25 million. You have players like Carles Perez, a striker. Barcelona could have used them. They didn't even have to go out and buy, what's his name? Braithwaite. They could have used Carles Perez. No. What do? Go sell him for 12 million to Roma and pay more for Braithwaite. And then you have other players like Deyo. I mean, I'm trying to think back. Deyo, 4 million. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. The lack of leadership. There's absolutely no leadership in this team. Starting from the manager to the players. I mean, Setien, he's just a puppet behind the board, right? They signed him with very little experience. I've never even played in the Champions League, managed a Champions League game. They sign him and they basically tell him, hey, tell the players, tell the fans what they want to hear. It's all a lie. From the first press conference, like I could see it. You know, he was like, yes, I'm going to get here and I'm going to start playing all the young players and we're going to practice twice and we're going to practice hard now. Like, guys, he is just saying what's easy to say. It's one thing to say something and then it's one thing to do it, right? And honestly, had it not been for all the injuries to the young, to everything that happened with Arthur, I don't even know if Riqui Puig would have actually kept on playing. So yes, that is the one promise that Setien kept. And I don't think it was really because he wanted to keep it, but rather because the circumstances happened and then Riqui Puig actually proved to be good. Barcelona is setting up their managers for failure because they don't give them a project. They just say, hey, come manage the best team in the world. Come manage Messi. Come manage Suarez. I know you want to do that for your curriculum. And so the managers are just like, sure, I would love to. I mean, this is a one-of-a-lifetime opportunity. But little do they know what they're going into. They're literally jumping into a fire. And so that's exactly what's happened to Valverde, to Setien. You know, Luis Enrique was like probably the last of the managers to have some glory at Barcelona. And so now let's talk about the players' leadership. Ever since Puyol, Xavi, Iniesta left, there's been a void of leadership in that team. The captain ban fell to Messi. But in my opinion, Messi never had the captain personality. He's the guy that, gets all the goals, gets all the assists, best player, you know? But there's one thing from being the best player, and there's a completely different thing from being a leader. Messi, the moment things start going south, puts his head down. Doesn't know how to respond. Doesn't know how to get his team to wake up, to fight. There's no leadership. You see him at the halftime. You see him like during water breaks. And when their team is down, and he's just kind of standing there like pondering life, thinking back when Neymar was still at Barcelona, thinking back at the glory days. Guys, that's not what Messi needs to do. Messi needs to step up. But personally, I just don't even think Messi can step up. So, assuming, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but assuming Messi stays at the club, what do you do? In my opinion, it's him being there. He's leaving players that have potential to be leaders in the shadows. Because think about it. Think about back when you played, soccer in high school, right? You're a sophomore and you go on to be a captain of the team by your senior year. But your sophomore year, You're not gonna start telling the captain what to do, and that's exactly what's happening. I think there's players at Barcelona who have leadership potential. Ter Stegen, maybe even Lenglet. They have leadership potential, but whenever you have players like Piqué, Busquets, Messi that have won it all, there's no way you can tell them what to do. I mean, it makes sense, right? So then these players are preventing the new upcoming players from taking command. And they're basically stopping the progress for Barcelona to continue to the next phase. Okay, so now let's actually talk about Messi. Is it time for him to leave? There were rumors that he went and said that it's either the board leaves or he leaves. And at this point, I think it's both. Both have to go. Guys, Messi is Barcelona's savior. Don't get me wrong. He is the reason why they even got any potential wins this year. Because if he wasn't there, Barcelona would have probably freaking been 10th place in La Liga, in my opinion. Okay? So, yes, while Messi is Barcelona's savior, he is also destroying them. I mean, I'm going to put the analogy of Iron Man, right? Whenever he had the technology placed in, for his heart to keep him alive, and it gave him all those powers, right? It allowed him to power his machine. But it was eating him up. It was killing him inside. And that's exactly what Messi is doing to Barcelona. Because of his high wage, his high salary wage, and honestly his attitude at this point in time. If Barcelona truly wants to start progressing into their next era, their next transition, it's time for Messi to go. Now, I'm not saying that once Messi leaves, Barcelona is going to be great. No, they're probably going to do even worse after that. Because when Messi leaves, it's going to suck. It's going to suck for Barcelona. But they're going to have to go through that pain to rise back up. And it's not going to happen until Messi leaves. Lastly, for my last, mini topic for why Barcelona ended at this stage, I want to talk about La Masia. I feel like they stopped putting faith in the youngsters. Or was it just that they had a really good generation and they hyped it up? I feel like they used it as a way to make other teams feel inferior. Oh, all we do is use La Masia, We build players. We have Xavi, we have Puyol, we have Iniesta, we have Messi. What can y'all do? We're all about tiki-taka. And I felt like it was just a tactic. And now that they don't have any, they're not producing any players, and they're saying they're realizing that they actually have to go out and buy players like other teams normally have to do. And it's completely going against what they said they did. And so now they're just hiding in the corner of, well, this is who we used to be, but this is not who we are anymore. Well, fuck. If that's who you said you were, put the faith on La Masia. Put the faith on the youngsters. Play Ricky Puig more. Play Ansu Fati. Let them start. They should be starters. How the heck does Ricky Puig not play a single minute in the Champions League against Napoli and against Bayern Munich? How? Fati barely played as well. How? Come on. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the problems for Barcelona go way beyond just a quick fix that would be ready in a month or two. No, this is going to take a year, 2, 3, who knows? It's going to be a long process. And it's not just about, oh, let's go buy Lautaro Martinez. Let's bring Neymar back. Let's get Haaland. No, it goes way beyond that. Like Piqué said, this team needs structural changes. They need to start with the board. I believe board elections are in a year or so. So they need to bring in a new president, a president that has a project for the team. And by building a project, they can offer that to a new manager. And they can't just get any manager. They can't just go and get another Setien. No, they have to get someone that is well respected. Someone that will get there and will tell players what to do, but, have a charisma in it. So players get behind what he is saying. Right now with Setien, no one listens to him. Setien has never managed a Champions League game. How is Messi? How is Piqué? How is Busquets? All these players that have won so much, how are they going to listen to a man that has never even managed a Champions League game? It's like if I show up and start coaching Barcelona, no one's going to give a fuck about what the hell I have to say. So they need to get someone with prestige. They basically just need someone with history, character, and just confidence. Some confidence out there. Confidence to make a change in the game whenever it's going south. Just do something. Be reactive. Next up, I think Barca needs to forget about the whole Barca DNA. I feel like it's holding them back. I feel like it was just some BS playing style that they made up to make other teams feel inferior. Oh, you don't have Barca DNA. You can't possess. You can't do tiki-taka. You're not as good as us. No, come on. Other teams can do good with other playing styles. You don't have to play possession to be a good team. Come on now. And I think that's holding them back because in their mind, all they're saying is, oh, we can only bring in players that have the Barca DNA, that are going to play tiki-taka, they're going to pass the ball around. And in reality, there's not that many players that are like that. Yes, they had a golden generation with Xavi and Iniesta that were just players that had a special touch for the ball. But that is just, it's extremely rare to find, and it's setting them back. I mean, look at, I think the perfect example is Arthur. Arthur is a player that was amazing. I mean, he was a great player. Yes, he had his controversial moments, but he was a good player. However, the problem with him was he didn't play it to the DNA style the Barca DNA style that they wanted. And that led to more problems with the board. And so ultimately, you guys know how it ended. They kicked him out. He was a good player. So I think Barcelona needs to forget about the whole tiki-taka, Barca DNA. And lastly, as I'm sure you guys have already gotten the hint of where I'm going to, Barcelona needs to get rid of their big winning players. What is known as las vacas sagradas, los pesos pesados. These players that like Piqué, Busquets, Suarez, Rakitic, I mean, he was there for a big part of the glory. And lastly, Messi. It's time for them to go. It's time to let new players rise up to the challenge, new players step up as leaders, new players start scoring goals. This Messi dependence is not going to go away until Messi goes away. And it will, and Barcelona can rise above it. And sure, it's going to hurt. It's going to be like peeling a Band-Aid off. You just got to peel that thing off. It's going to hurt, and it's going to suck. Like it sucked for Real Madrid after Cristiano Ronaldo left. It sucked for us. But it's time for Barcelona to do the same thing. If they truly want to move on to the next stage, it's time to let go of those players and rebuild as a new team. Anyways, guys, I know a lot of the stuff I said today was very controversial, and I want you to let me know down in the comments what your opinions think. I am sure that not everyone's going to agree with what I have to say, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about this whole topic. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button down below. Go check out our other videos and hit the subscribe button down below. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.